Hi everybody, this is a Grixis Arcane Bombardment deck that has a lot of the usual tricks of other Arcane Bombardment decks, but we're trying out something a little different. We've got a minor reanimation sub-theme going on. So I love to tuck in some permanents to kind of give our opponents something to distract themselves with, something to take the attention off of Arcane Bombardment. Generally, if we concentrate on just a deck with this card and just spells, then they get to save all of their removal for when we finally do play Arcane Bombardment, and it goes pretty poorly for us. So we're trying a slightly different strategy in here, and to be honest, this was inspired by another deck I made that had just one Invoke Justice in it that was just enough to mess with our opponents and just become a general nuisance, which, if you know me, it's kind of a thing for me by now. So at any rate, we've got some things to reanimate here. We've got 3 copies of Lord Xander the Collector, a favorite reanimation target of mine, though you could probably sub in a Toxrill or something else large from the Brothers' War, like a big artifact creature, something along those lines. Doesn't have to be Xander necessarily, although I do like that you do get an effect from him as soon as he comes onto the battlefield, so that it's not as reactive as something like Jin-Gitaxias, which is great, but generally needs a little more to go with it than just having a good effect as soon as he lands on the battlefield. So those are kind of our reanimation targets, and then we're running 4 Graveyard Shift to make that happen. Now we've got enough Big Score and Maestros Charm in here that we get to throw some stuff in the graveyard and kind of enable the flash ability on Graveyard Shift, so we're able to kind of take some opponents by surprise with that, and I just love being able to play instants in an Arcane Bombardment deck. We're also running some Burn Down the House, some Big Score, and a couple of Lightning Strikes down on the low end, along with some Consider. Just one Go for the Throat, since there's a lot of artifact creatures around. It's just kind of a nice card to have. A couple of Sheoldreds, because Sheoldred is wonderful, and that's just one more thing that we can reanimate at instant speed with Graveyard Shift. Looking at the 3 drops, these are some of the things that kind of make this strategy work. We've got Maestro's Charm that fills in a lot of holes, but most importantly is the first ability that lets us take one of the cards off the top 5 of our library, and then we put the remaining 4 into our graveyard. Normally in reanimation style decks in these colors, we Big Score or otherwise discard our reanimation targets over here, and then use the mana or just use the next land we draw to cast one of our 5 mana reanimation spells. So we're able to do that just fine, but Maestro's Charm really helps out with that, because there's only 7 reanimation targets in this deck, so sometimes we kind of need to go looking for it. So that's kind of what we're going for here, along with 3 Brotherhood's End, which is a great early game sweeper that we get to use in red now. So is it good and super competitive? Well, probably not, but it is totally sweet. So let's get over and see some of these games on the ranked standard ladder. I'll be with you for some commentary, but as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. All right, seems acceptable. We are sort of a Reanimator deck after all. Starting off with 3 lands and a Lord Xander, plus a way to get him in their yard, plus a way to bring him back. Let's get this lounge down first, appropriately. Still trying to get to 4 mana to Big Score, which is really going to enable this whole plan. Well, there's the last land we needed. Opponent maybe Consider. That's signaling like a mono blue haughty Jin type of list. A secondary Xander. Okay. Could get hard cast later on. And ultimately we're going to try to draw into a bombardment to kind of support this if our initial plan gets countered here. So let's wait. Let's try to react to whatever they try to do. Oh, thought they were going for a Thirst there. They like to do that at the end of our turn. No, just to Consider. Okay. Yeah, Mono Blue usually turn 3, between turn 3 and 5. They try to land that Jin because it gives a nice discount. But this is a good window for us to Big Score while they are impulsing. Probably should have done it in response to the impulse, but it's probably fine. All right, goes right through. So there's no Spell Pierce in their hand. We know that much. We could go directly for Xander, but I think Bombardment is going to give us more staying power if we can land this now. Excellent. Yeah, see, blue doesn't have a way to get rid of this enchantment that's very easy to do or very commonly played. Oh, Inventive Iteration. Okay. So, yeah, had we played just straight up Xander there, we would have gotten the discard trigger, but it would have just bounced back to our hand. Whereas now we get to start stacking things under bombardment. Let's get burn down the house down there in the graveyard. A lightning strike on top will be nice. Well, how about a Xander? Gonna discard half your hand while we get a free spell. Oh, we draw a Sheoldred too. Nice. All right, so that's going to be 3 cards, making him discard over there. Oh, too much. Good game. Can't keep that 2-lander, and we're still missing colors. This is better. You know, I think we can afford to skip the graveyard shift for now. So just looking at the rest of our hand, we're kind of well set up against an aggro deck. We're really well set up against an aggro deck, and graveyard shift has no targets yet. We don't even have any card draw, so luckily we've drawn bombardment, but either way, those Brotherhoods end, burn down the house, lightning strike. We can handle any kind of aggro strategy while we wait for some card draw, and then figure out what direction we can go after that. Underdog here, just played for 2. Let's get up to 3 mana. Now we've got options. Maestros Charm. I love Maestros Charm and Reanimator. It's so nice. All right, we'll pay 3 life to see what else the opponent's going to do this turn. Reclusive Taxidermist. All right, so definitely trying to ramp. They also missed a land. Let's see what we can find with this Charm. Oh, 4 lands and a Consider? Land it is. Okay. That's too bad. You know, I think Brotherhood's end here. They're down on lands. Let's keep them down. It's not like we're exactly speeding towards Arcane Bombardment. We still don't have a big score, which is usually what we do to kind of skip up the mana chain to 6 mana. Another Taxidermist, but they did find a land, so we're going to have to keep playing lands of our own as we get up to 6 for this bombardment, but let's keep them hampered. No ramping for you. We just need a little more time to get this enchantment down. Beast Caller. Yeah, it's better to get rid of this now. I was hoping we could save something cheap to activate bombardment with, but yeah, we're just going to play it on time. All right. Come on, no removal. Oh. Of course. Tear asunder. Oh. Well, new plan. We're going Devils. We're going to hope to draw land next turn. And we're just going to hardcast Lord Xander. Nothing like exploring multiple avenues of attack with Arcane Bombardment. Excellent. We draw an untapped land. Do we do this before or after combat? I think after. The Devils are expendable. Ensign expendable on the Starship Arcane Bombardment. All right, land number 7, Lord Xander. Yeah, I kind of like Lord Xander. He's probably not the optimal Reanimator target, but I love that he has an effect as soon as he comes down. And it's kind of the best we get to do in Grixis. Toxrill's amazing, but you kind of have to wait a little bit. The opponent gets a chance to answer it. Whereas colors that have access to Titan of Industry always get a nice effect when that comes down. Oh, Choking Miasma? I was going to say, that's a good card, but not enough. All right, we are here with some Grixis Reanimator and Arcane Bombardment. We've got a reanimation target. We have a way to get it out of the grave. And this big score will let us dump old Jin-Gitaxias in there right on time. Yeah, let's get this lounge down now. We could have held up Go for the Throat here, but I think... Oh. Alright, so the Skittering Horror is just going to get bigger. I was going to say, I was hoping they would... Yeah, we should probably just kill this now. I was going to say, I was hoping they would play a couple of things out there, because I'd rather pretend like we don't have any spot removal. They play a few things, and then we just get them with Brotherhood's End. But now I have no idea what's happening over there. Alright, we pick up an Abrade. Well, we're at 4 mana. The plan now is to big score. Hopefully when the opponent has tapped out all of their blue. Few things more disheartening than getting your own big score countered. Alright, Overwhelmed Archivist is going to loot. Well, let's go for it. Okay, so this is fine. So we've got Jin in the yard. We already have our Reanimator card. And we just get to do it for free. That worked out really nicely for us. Opponent taking the time to read Jin. Too much text on these cards, I'm telling you. Okay, Teferi comes down. Make a construct. Alright, that will help. What can we do here? Alright. So it's just the first spell that he copies. So let's Consider. We'll get a free copy of Consider. Don't need a land. Let's see what we get. Just another land. So now what we can do... Ooh. Well, now what we can do is just burn down that Brotherhood's End. And hit everything that's smaller than Jin. So luckily we had a way to get rid of Jin's trigger there, so it wouldn't double up Brotherhood's End and we'd be forced to play the second copy. Because it's not a May. It has to be copied. Okay, opponent with a Praetor of their own. And a sleeper. Now they decide to start playing multiple things each turn. Well, while we can, let's double up this Abrade and try to go for Sheoldred here. Oh, and too much. Good game. Alright, looking good here. We've got no Reanimator stuff, but we've got big score to find it, and we've got all of our colors, which is always nice to see in your 3-color deck. Oh. That's a nice little wormlet. I wonder what's going on over there. Excellent. Okay, so Research Desk puts a counter on that. Let's see here. Anything happen if we kill this? Nah, let's just get rid of it. Stuff that grows is kind of hard for us to get rid of. A lot of our removal, a lot of our sweepers are damage-based, and so if something gets too big, like if they concentrate on one thing, that can be bad news for us sometimes. Research Desk. All right, and they're in Jund colors? Interesting. All right, another worm. Sulfurous Springs. What is going on? I'm really curious. I'm genuinely, like, I'm not trying to be sarcastic. I'm very curious as to what's going on. Is this the point of the deck? Because, I mean, that's pretty good. I think we can afford to take a hit from this. We've got so many sweepers. I want to see if they want to try to pile up some more little things. And they can't make the worm bigger than burn down the house at this point. So let's let him Rutstein, and then we'll big score here. Okay, Research Desk again. Great for putting counters on things. I wonder if they run Patchwork Automaton. That would be great. All right, well, let's get ready to big score here. We'll say that's one thing I love about playing in gold at the season reset is like you just get a wider variety of decks. I love seeing what people are up to. All right, plenty of lands here. Let's get rid of this board before that worm gets too big. Opponent will pick up a card from the crown trigger. And they've still got a pair of research desks going around. Yeah, this desk is giving me ideas. Normally not one for aggro, but again, Patchwork Automaton, I could see that coming down with, because folks used to play, oh, what was it, that Ronin that would bounce back to your hand in red every turn, but it was also an artifact. And that went well with patches as well. Yeah, I kind of want a big score here. So we can get the bombardment down, but it's exposed to removal. It's not that threatening yet. They do get a treasure. And we've got the option to get rid of this crown with Brotherhood's End as well. So I just want a little more time to make the best, most informed decision here before we start trying to go off. Okay. Yeah, so just looking at these creatures, these artifacts, it's doubtful that they play Invoke Despair, but they could always have Tear Asunder in these colors. And I'd at least like to get one effect out of Bombardment if we're going to play it. Okay, so they're going all in on the desk, looking for something. All right, another worm. So this appears like they've got a lot of stuff going on in the 1, 2, and 3 cost slots. And then they're going to Fable for extra value. So let's big score away our spare land. We pick up a Jin and a Go for the Throat. All right. I think we can Bombardment now. And then go for Brotherhood's End. But just on damage. I think we're in a decent enough spot where we can go for damage and wipe this board. But then in the future... All right, let's get that down in the yard too, since we have another copy of Burn Down the House. But in the future, hopefully we can pick up Brotherhood's End again and bring it back to get rid of these like research desks, this crown, all these little artifacts that seem to be popping up over there. Ugh, Seiju. Okay. Yes, we'll take action. Let's get a tap land out into play. That will enable Jin and Xander if we draw them. Always nice to have a backup plan if they've got some removal from Bombardment. Fable will flip. They're unearthing the research desk. And are going to go digging again. Opponent with an anvil. Okay, we really need to pick up Brotherhood's End now. These utility artifacts are pretty good. Very good together, actually, now that I look at them. So we do need to try to wipe this as soon as we can. Huh. Well, it doesn't have haste. I was debating whether or not to Abrade the crown now. But if we can get Jin down, I can get a double Abrade. We can hit the crown and the anvil. So let's try to get Jin down. Because I think we've got enough for that, right? Yes. Okay. That will be good. Only enough mana for one spell, so let's do it on their turn. All right, another Fable from the opponent. Goblin Shaman is here. That looks like they're going to sacrifice something. Okay, they're going to sacrifice, draw off the crown, and that will trigger the anvil and get another construct for free. That is fine. So I probably could have abraded in response to the Fable, but I think it's okay. So let's do this now. We will do Abrade on the first copy. Sorry, the first copy of Abrade on the crown. The Jin trigger should give us a second Abrade, and do it to the anvil. Always got to remember that Jin gives you a copy of the same version of the card that you cast. So since we chose Destroy Artifact, we couldn't choose anything different on the second copy. Let's get some devils going. Double up on the devils. Let's keep Jin back. I don't know if they have any kind of direct damage, but they've got enough power on the board that they could block Jin and hit it with a lightning strike or something like that. And Jin is going to enable us to turn this game around. So we've got enough left over that we can Maestros Charm and get a free copy on our opponent's turn, hopefully leaving us with a nice reanimation target in the graveyard for us to graveyard shift. Voltaire and Epicure. All right, so they are playing a lot of little things that all kind of work pretty nicely together. Sacking the blood token. Really digging hard for something here. For Search Desk, but Jin will counter that. Yep, everybody forgets he counters artifacts, but perhaps that was on purpose. All right, looks like they're going to try to remove him, so let's get this charm going. Oh, well, we'll pick up a bombardment off the first copy, dump another Jin in the grave. And a Xander. I guess we could take Xander. Yeah, do we need him in the grave? I think this Consider will help us activate Bombardment. We might be able to squeeze in a couple of spells each turn. Okay. So Jin, Xander, lots of burn down the house down here. Good stuff to pick up with Bombardment. Be nice to draw another small spell here. Okay. Yeah, I think it's Bombardment. Let's Consider now. Try to get a nice instant for next turn. Oh, this will help. All right, let's ditch the second Bombardment. Big score draws us another big score, which we can now afford to cast. And another graveyard shift on top. Not totally necessary. This is good. That is what we're looking for. Brotherhood's End. Yeah. Let's hold on to this land too. We can big score that away on our opponent's turn. And if we pick up a board wipe, we'll be able to hit this flipped Fable. All right. Unearths the Research Desk. And Exercise in Pronunciation. Puts a counter on the Wormlet, and they get to look at the top two. They get another desk. All right, well, I'm starting to come around on the desk and this worm here. It's a nice little combo. Oh, they've got a spider. That's going to be interesting for us. Okay. All right, well, end of the turn here. Let's big score. Discarding this land. What do we pick up with Bombardment? We get an Abrade. Are there any good targets for that? No, I think we'll just do it on damage. Yeah, let's do the Wormlet. We've still got another turn to get rid of this Fable. And we get a second Bombardment and a Xander. And a second Xander. Okay. Well, I think we could attack, but it's not going to make too much difference. Let's Brotherhood's End on damage. See what else we pick up here. Because we've got so much in the graveyard, we can use this graveyard shift as an instant on our opponent's turn if we have nothing else. Yeah, we can pitch one of these. Abrade your treasure just because it's free. Alright, Takenuma and another Brotherhood's End. And we'll get 6 triggers here from these devils. But yeah, now that a big score is under there, we should be pretty well set here. Opponent at 12. Let's pass and plan on graveyard shifting on their turn. Research desk. Anvil. Okay, triggers the anvil. We take 1. Or no, sorry. They get a construct. You got to tap the anvil to do the damage. Right? Yeah. Okay, end of turn. We will graveyard shift. Yes, I think that's what we want to do. Let's get... Do they have a response? No, they can't. I was like, are they going to burn us out? Let's get Jin for some protection from burn spells. And we can abrade this anvil, thankfully. Burn down the house on devils. And big score. Probably don't need Takenuma at this point. We'll probably pick up a graveyard shift eventually. Okay, opponent gets one last hit in with the anvil before that goes away. Here come the devils. Anvil is down. Jin is here. We'll resolve that desk trigger, and we've got so much treasure. Let's cycle one of these lounges, because it would be nice to have an instant to play. Oh, there we go, Sheoldred. We may just... Yeah, Sheoldred is going to be nice. We should do this. And I think I'd love to activate Bombardment and use some of those big scores to get us above 3. Okay. Opponent sees the writing on the wall. Good game.